Well, there.
Well, Mark Maximus.
This is the Marcus Maximus Sunday roast. My guest today is Lar Byrne,
Mr. Lar Byrne.
Mr. Lar Byrne. Lar,
What's happening?
how are you keeping?
All good, bud. All good.
Tell people what you do, other than rent your ring out.
Jesus, a lot. I ref a lot, I suppose. Promote a lot. Cause arguments a lot on Facebook. And get very opinionated.
You used to fight as well, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Not anymore. Too old.
I know, but it gives you an insight of.
No,
the fight,
I was meant to fight in 2016, like a year and a half ago. I was meant to have my last fight, but I got rear-ended in a car crash, so I'm fucking right since. So I need to get me neck sorted. So once that's sorted,
Jeez,
I'll be
didn't
too
know
old.
that.
Yeah, I got rear-ended. Yeah, on the way back from the brother's kids christening, I was stopped at set of traffic lights. Or roundabout actually stopped, and I got fucking milked. My car got run off. So wasn't fun.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was all booked to go back to Thailand, so that had to get scrapped.
Oh, sorry to hear about that.
All good, bud.
But you're still involved in it in a big way.
Still motoring, yeah. Reffing a lot.
Yeah, ref.
Reffing a lot, releasing out the boxing rings, you know. It's busy.
Yeah. What's the hardest part of reffing?
Hardest part of reffing? I suppose people not understanding the rules, as in maybe like the fans, maybe. When I say fans, like it shouldn't matter what they care about. Fans
Exactly. All they want to see, they're having a few beers. They want to see them fucking killing each other. But
Yeah.
you're about looking after the safety of
Of
the
course,
fighters.
I mean that is why you're there. Like predominantly, that's the main reason you're there is to protect the weaker fighter. You know, that's the reason, the only reason you're in there. You know, at professional level, you don't really have to do a lot. If you ever see me reffing pro fights or anybody reffing pro fights as opposed to ami fights can be a mess. You know, it's very they're learning their craft. You're jumping in and out.
Pro fights are probably easier to.
A lot
get in and
easier,
out,
a lot
yeah.
easier. I remember when, like, the first show I refed, Keane Cowley actually he was reffing the event a few years back, about 5 years ago maybe. He was reffing the event, but he had fighters on, and I'd only done my training, and I had started going to the gym. Like, people think when you go and do a course, a training course, you answer a few questions, you listen. You know, it's you know,
Like a day and a half and you're done.
very helpful. Yeah, exactly. But it's
when
not.
you're actually a fighter, you know exactly if a guy can't
Of course, it
look
helps.
after himself
Of
for
course
about
it
5
helps.
or 6 seconds of that fight, he's done.
Yeah,
because the damage you can get done in 5 or 6 seconds.
Because you've been there, yeah. Well, that's why, you know, often I might look like a bit of a jack in the box because I'm close, like you know, and I'm in there. It's you gotta, you know, that one extra punch, you know, especially if the lad gets, you know, and he's just flying like that one big smack, like, you know.
Yeah, watching that knockout in glory by Verhoeven, he just, you know, the referee bleeding just. I think it was one of the highlight knockouts of last year.
Was it when the guy turned his back? No,
No, Verhoeven, not that big guy. Well, Rico Verhoeven, anyway, he battered some fella, but I was just looking at the way the referee went in the middle of the fight. Now, these are pro fighters, and I understand it's a title on the line.
What did the ref do?
Well, he just let it go on. He was taking punch after punch, and I was like, Jesus, he's out on his feet already.
It doesn't really matter. And in fairness, like, whether it's glory or
it makes for good viewing, you understand.
No. I don't believe any ref is thinking of the views, to be quite honest. It doesn't matter if it's
job, you know.
If it's glory or his only job is there to look after the fighters, you know, and implement the rules. That should be his only concern. So I don't believe there's refs out there that are like thinking, you know, this looks great or whatever. You know, you don't have that. Well, I don't personally, and I know all the other refs that I work with.
Except for a couple of toy refs.
They don't. No. Well, maybe like suppose that the extreme Muay Thai, man. Geez, you know, they really let it go on in that event, man. It's bad enough, you know. It's, you know, there's been some, like, actually a friend of mine was fighting there a while back and should have been stopped a lot earlier than it was. You know, he went on and got three counts. Well, 2 counts, then they stopped it, but it should have been stopped before. So that, I suppose, is one event where.
Well, look, as a mother and a father for a young kid that is fighting in the amateur, to have a referee like as ourselves that know what's going on is very important, because, you know, you don't want kids, you know.
Well, this is going back to when you were asking, like, what's the hardest thing about refereeing? Like, you know, like I was saying, the pros, they kind of look after themselves in a way. They know the rules, are seasoned, you know.
Yeah.
That's why they're called pros. But the amateur level, and especially with kids, the parents, they don't understand the rules, and sometimes the coaches don't understand the rules. There are coaches out there that some of them are transitioning over from other sports, you know, and they're coming in and they think they know the rules, but then they don't, you know. And I had one coach ask me recently, like, well, how are we supposed to know what the rules? Well, attend the fucking rule meeting, you know, a rules meeting. But why are you allowing your fighter into a fight if you are unsure about the rules? You know, and that's like, you know, sometimes you're, you know, especially with the counts, like what warrants a count in an amateur fight is completely different than what will warrant a count in a professional fight. There was a fight there last weekend I was reffing actually, and not a whole lot was happening. It went to 3 rounds, but the fighter in question, like, their head kept popping back, but, you know, this fighter was tough, you know, and you know, but it was amateur level, and I wasn't far off just stepping in and waving it off, you know. I was just about there, and I, you know, you kind of have signal the timekeeper to see like how long's left, you know. If I look at the timekeeper or whatever, they'll know to hold up like 10 seconds left, and you kind of know, you know, you're like, well, it's only 10 seconds, and you know, because you know, people don't understand what warrants. Like, people think a fight gets stopped if you know, they drop on the ground and they can't get back up, or you give 1 count, then you give your 2nd count, then on your 3rd count you wave it off. But it's not that. You can, like, and it's in the rules in every organisation. If a fighter is, like, the first fight of the night the other day, actually, on an event, I had to give a fighter a count because he was just too unfit. He was fighting, and he was, the other guy, like, if you're not, like, if you can't fucking breathe and you're not in physical shape,
can't lift your arms up to
and
yourself.
you can't intelligently protect yourself. And I asked the fighter, I said, are you good? Are you good? Are you good to continue? You know, like, I had stopped and broke them. I said, you good? And he, if I ask you a question, for whatever reason, if you can't answer me, like, you know, a lot of times in a count, if I ask you a question, do you want to continue? And if you don't answer, you know, it tells me something up here is not working. So I'll most likely wave it off. But in that particular case, it wasn't a count. He was just too unfit. And I gave him a count, and the coach was a bit upset. And I'm going, the guy couldn't fucking breathe. He can't. He literally, you know, and it was only amateur, you know. It's different if it's pro level, you know. But like that, you've got to be in peak physical condition. If you're not, you shouldn't be fucking fighting, in my opinion.
That's what I'm saying. Is that there for a buffer, a safety?
Yeah, of course. And
like,
like
we're
that,
talking about stats there of like whatever kid, like, people say, oh, kids shouldn't be fighting and thing, but like, kids mountain bike, and they fuck themselves up mountain bike.
Look,
do you get me?
It's funny you should say that, because they like, regarding concussions and stuff, the biggest sports related cause of kids getting concussion is cycling. So, you know, people are talking about banning MMA, and, you know, it's barbaric, and same with, like, any full contact sport, it's difficult to get sponsorships or whatever.
I have more injuries fucking playing football.
Oh, that's the thing, you know, and like that, what are you supposed to do? Ban cycling? You know? And we meant to ban cycling because, you know, it's you know,
exactly.
I get that with fighting, there's intent. With boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, whatever the case may be, there's intent there. So that's the difference in, like, other sports like rugby, for example. But I mean, I have a lot of friends that play rugby. I have an awful lot of friends that are fighters, and especially the older generation, the fighters, they're all fucking grand. They're fine. But the rugby players, man, that's a rough sport. I mean, man, I know guys that can't brush their teeth properly, or whatever. They're limping around the place. The discs broke all over the place. You actually, you know, most often than not,
the government minister talking about the MMA. I think it's for the few extra dollars.
Man, well, he didn't. In fairness, what he said was he I seen that. Look, it's not like MMA wouldn't have promoted MMA a few times. I've never fought MMA or anything like that. So, but
it's the same thing. You have referees that are just as experienced reffing. They're not just out fucking like a street.
Yeah, of course. But it wasn't even about his point wasn't ref. They were trying to say that the IMF, they were dragging their heels in trying to self-regulate it, which, from what I can see, it couldn't be any further from the truth. I mean, you know, for whatever, people are divided. The MMA community is divided on what's going on there with the MMA scene at the moment, or whatever, regarding all the rules and the fucking head scans, all that kind of stuff. But you can't say they're not trying, and that's basically what the minister was saying. He was dragging their heels. Like, I mean, they've asked for meeting after meeting, and
like, a lot of the coaches now have in-depth knowledge of concussions, and they know how to go. Well,
yeah, no, well,
the majority of them,
I believe they do.
Have been knocked out.
There was a concussion. There was a concussion course there, not concussion course rather, but I don't know. Some doctor ran a course there.
The Royal College of Surgeons.
Yeah. And just to give coaches information, but, you know, like that with concussions and all that CTE coming out now, you know, all this stuff. I mean, I don't know. It's a weird one. I mean, look, if you're like you're in the game, you fought before, you fought professional level. You've got, like, most of my friends are fighters. Most of your friends are fighters. It's the world we live in. So you're looking at it, and we can see it.
It's not just for the sitting in the ring. It's like a way of life of trying to live your life good.
Yeah, of course. It's, look, that's going on. That's leading on to the benefits of it. But my point is, like we see it all the time. We don't see anything wrong with it. We choose to do it. But when you're a government minister or whatever, and you're a suit and you're sitting around a table and you're looking at this, and you've never seen any form of full contact competition before, and you're looking at this, I mean, of course they're going to take odds, but they don't know anything about it. They're ignorant to it, you know, and they're even coming out saying there's no rules and all this kind of stuff, you know. But it's like I say, the only difference with I suppose full contact competition is there's intent. The intent is there, where it's not in other sports, you know. But I mean, I don't know, with the concussion
and the rules. What do you think of the rules for the K1?
Well, the K1.
I know you have some issues with the C class.
No, I don't have issues. I put a status up there last week. Basically, my point about C class was there's amateur K1 and then there's professional K1. So the main differences is when you move up from amateur to fight professionally, you've got spinning back fists, which can be quite dangerous, and you've got knees to the head, and you've got 3 3-minute rounds, and then obviously the competition's stronger because you're moving on up to professional. But in Muay Thai, you can fight amateur, and then you got C class, which is the exact same rules, very same rules. The minutes don't change, the rules don't change. There's still no spinning back fist. There's no knees to the head, and it's still 3 2-minute rounds. The only thing different is they remove the shin pads, so it gives the fighters an opportunity to feel what it's like to kick with no shins. I believe it's much better.
It's a lot less clunkier.
Yeah, it's a lot less clunkier. You're picking your shots. When you've got shin pads on, you're not
just throwing them out for the sake.
Exactly. It's about progression. And I suppose in Muay Thai you can progress onto a C class and then you go on to B class.
You want to see it more graduated rather than just
in the C class. I just think there needs to be an easier transition. So you've got amateur K1. And you know, there's no spinning back face, no knees in the head, and then like I say, in professional you've got both, and then you've got 3-minute rounds. So what my point was, if like they do it in Holland, they do it in Belgium, they do it in the UK even, it's amateur rules but without the shin pads. That's it. So there's some fighters out there that are like,
it sounds like a good,
very experienced. Yeah, well, look, I mean, in my opinion, it's like, I'd like to see it happen, but I put it to a governing body here, an organisation, and they refuse it on safety grounds, you know. And I'm sure they're looking at. I'm sure they have their reasons, you know. It's obviously it's bone on head, like it's bone on bone, you know. So it's, you know, and I think their point as well was.
Meanwhile, in the rugby end of things,
well, there you
go. Run at someone full tilt and fucking take them down. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, it doesn't always have to compare to rugby or other sports.
No, I'm not picking on fucking rugby just for the sake of it.
No, well, look, in my opinion,
I'm trying to compare it.
The injuries are a lot worse, like I say, in rugby. I mean, oh man, like I said, like most of my mates that have done rugby are broke up, and especially those that have retired. 100%. So, like that. I just like to see it. I just think it's an easier transition, and on top of that, I think what's happening is you're getting, like, we have a guy there, Liam O'Brien in Wicklow, and Liam's, I don't know, he's had maybe 10 fights now, which is experienced enough in Ireland at amateur level. It's not really, and you go to Holland and there's guys with 60 fights at amateur level. It's different. They're fighting every week. There's better competition there, whatever, you know.
There's more competition.
But yeah, exactly. So, well, Liam, he's finding it difficult to get fights now. So, and he's already wanted to move up to pro. We don't want him to move pro. So you're not ready to be a pro yet, but he is ready for C class. But there is no C class. So what happens is they find it difficult to get fights, and I feel, look, I'm only going by Liam because he's one of our students, but I'm sure there's others out there they can't get, like Lee Coakley is another one. Lee Coakley can't get matched for shit at the moment. In K1, you know, so he's the ISK amateur champion at the moment. So what's he doing now? You know, I don't know his coach Collie Mann. I don't know whether he wants to progress him on to pro, but it's kind of they're pushed to it. They're pushed to it. They're like, well, I can't get a match, and they might go a year. Nobody's wanting to match him. Like, I've tried to match Lee Coakley. It's fucking impossible to match at the moment. Very, very strong. So there's nothing there. So he might be forced then to go on and fight professional. So if there was something in between, like a C class, I'm not saying Lee Coakley's not ready. I'm not his coach, you know. But my point is, guys like him and guys like Liam, in my opinion, they're pushed towards professional when they're not ready. I see a lot of lads that are fighting professional, not ready to fight professional.
Not like the boxing where you spend half.
If they had a C class, it'd be an easier transition, you know. Yeah, like the boxers, man.
But the amateurs, they're all subsidised, though.
Well, yeah, they're subsidised. So is KBI, the kickboxing. They get a few quid. We don't get anything, unfortunately. Nor do any of the gyms, you know. But yeah, like I say, that was my point with the status.
Yeah, you know? And you were talking about the same day weigh-ins.
that's getting brought back in actually. Same day weigh-ins
And this
for the amateur.
This ties in with concussions as well, because when you're bleeding the body of water.
Yeah, look, I tried to bring in on a couple of my promotions, events that I was running, especially the one in Wicklow, maybe a year or two ago. It was for example, in the ISKA rules, they want same day weigh-ins. So we tried it, we done it, and a lot of the other events that I do day before weigh-ins, and there are amateurs out there that are doing big cuts. But when I done it, those guys, I done it twice, I think, and each time they were cutting weight anyway. So they were coming down on the day. We had them weigh in at like lunchtime, maybe 12, 1 o'clock. To weigh in same day. You know, the idea is they don't cut weight. They just turn up. What's your, like, you get onto a coach, what's your guy weigh? 70 kilos. Okay, I'll match him at 70 kilos. But these guys are putting themselves forward at, say, 66 kilos or 67 kilos. They're cutting anyway. Yeah. And in my opinion, it's too fucking dangerous because, and I've done it twice, and each time those guys coming down, we're weighing them in, and they're stepping off the scales, and they're drinking water, they're eating food, and then that's at like lunchtime, and then they're going on to fight again. Now I know people watching might think, well, their coaches shouldn't be allowing that. Right or wrong, like obviously their coaches shouldn't be allowing it, but right or wrong, it's fucking happening. It's not my fault it's happening. It's happening. You know, it is what it is. I know it shouldn't be, but that's why I knocked it on the head anyway. And I think there are some organisations trying to bring it back in. I believe that Pinter Quigley's doing a show up there.
So was that a weigh-in before some fella fucking passed out?
I was at that. Sure, it was me standing on the stage weighing him in. Yeah, that was James Heelan's opponent. Yeah, man. I called his name. That was years ago. That was about 6 years ago. That was in the where was that? That was in Stevens Green Shopping Centre. Yeah. I called his name and I was like,
you never even touched him.
Yeah, I called his name and next thing, I think he was alright. I don't know what happened, but I don't know. But I called his name anyway, and then he just dropped. I can't remember who that was. I think it was can't remember. He went for a while, that guy, but he dropped, and I was like, "Fuck, what's going on here?" It was actually James Heelan. I called James Heelan.
I thought it was a blade scrap or something.
So did I actually at the time. I called James Heelan. James Heelan came up to weigh in, and I called him up to the stage. It was in the shopping centre. Then we called this guy. Fucked if I can remember his name. And while I was calling his name, I was just seeing a commotion and everybody running over, and I was kind of, looking off the side, and I was like, "Yeah, James, that's your opponent, man." And he was, but yeah, so but like that, I mean, it was quite hot that day. But look, I mean, why couldn't it is what it, it's dangerous enough. But so you can imagine how dangerous it is if the amateurs are coming down that shouldn't be doing it and they're doing it on the same day. So it's working in MMA, I believe. If they're doing it in MMA, I think it's working. But there are a lot more.
I think America in the wrestling, they have a certain kind of catch weight that you have to. I don't know exactly the bleeding stats on what way you have to, but you're not allowed to cut a certain amount of weight.
Yeah, it's done on percentages or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, done on percentages.
Do you know anything about that?
Steph's going to pull it up there.
You have to be within 6 pounds there. Look at catch weight.
Yeah, how long before the fight? A week prior. Yeah, look, they're doing that as well. They're doing that on, was it 1FC? We're doing the same, I think. Yeah, someone's doing the same. Look, it's all changing.
That's because that lad, it was a
lad. It was a guy died or something. Yeah. I like that. I don't know.
But when you're training, like they go to the extreme because they train to the extreme, and like it's unfortunate.
Yeah, but look, at professional level, look, I mean, that's prize fighting. They're trying to, there's a lot at stake.
It's their livelihood.
There's not a whole lot at stake on amateur level. It's different. It's different for pros. Like if pros want to do weight cut, fine. Like I mean, look, you ask any fighter, should there be weight cuts? They'll all tell you no. But they won't change. Like I don't know how it's going to change, but the fact of the matter is, if you've got a guy at 70. And he wants to fight at 70, he's going to know there's a guy going to come down from 76, 77, and he's going to cut. So he won't put himself forward for 70 because he knows he's going to be fighting a fucking tank. So like that, it's it's a difficult one to work out, but I believe it's all kind of changing at the moment. But I mean, especially with the head guards, I don't believe in head guards anyway.
Well, look, at least people are looking at this and they're trying to make it better. That's the evidence of it.
Look, my opinion.
It's not like just fucking get in there and do it. Look, there are people at work saying, listen, this is a better way to do it.
The Olympics done it. The Olympics done it with the head guards. They done, like, not with weight cut, but the head guards. With the head guards,
are they?
No, this head guard, the Olympics, they done it. There was a lot, they obviously took these away from the amateur boxing in the Olympics. I think they done like 10,000 fights or some shit like that. Don't quote me on that. And they had 5,000 with head guards and 5,000 without head guards. And after they examined them all for concussions, and it was 43% less with the guys without head guards.
Without head guards.
Yeah, so it reduced concussions by 43%. So they argue, like, you can't fucking argue with science. You know, some people are still saying, see this head guard.
Well, it's only data they measure like this. It's better than what they like. Oh yeah, head guard's gonna save you.
I don't know. I don't look. I mean, at amateur level in K1 and Toy, they're still wearing them a lot. You know, more so in K1. But I mean, look,
it's more for cuts.
Well, it's more for cuts. The reason the boxers are still wearing them here, they're fighting in tournaments. So I think oh no, it wasn't. It was Paulie Kane actually. Paulie Kane at Monkstown Boxing Club. I gave him a ring there recently. I was at his event, and they actually had these Adidas head guards. I don't know how much they are. How much are they, Steph? 140. They're expensive. They are very expensive. But the thing is, anytime I'm reffing and I see guys, usually the promoters will put, because the head guards are expensive, there'll be one red, one blue, along with the gloves on the corners. And the guys are coming to wear them. They're putting them on. They're either too big, they're ill-fitted, basically. So I'm looking at them, and I've reffed hundreds, thousands probably of fights with head guards. Man, it's a fucking disaster. They're coming over, it's blocking their vision. Like, first of all, it's acting as a lever. So, you know, the head, you know, it's a bigger target. They can't see. It gives them a false sense of security, they say anyway. So they'll take more chances. You know, they're jumping in or whatever, and because they have the head guard on. But like the concussion, you know, I believe it's not caused from the initial knock. It's like the head snapping. So it's like it's the brain moving around.
It's the sloshing in between.
Yeah, exactly. So when I see it, like, I can see lads. Again, a couple of weeks back, I'm reffing an event, and they had the promotion supplied the head guards, and they were ill-fitted. And when the fighter takes a punch, like, he's getting a jab, and you know, a jab is often followed up with a straight, so they get the jab, and it moves, and they're at themselves trying to fix it.
Blindside,
they're fucking eating it. They're eating a straight, so they're a fucking nightmare, to be quite honest. But like I say, when I was at Paulie Kinsel's event there recently, the boxers had these ones on, but you're not allowed to compete in boxing unless you have your own. You have to have your own. That's the difference. If you've got your own head guard.
Oh, so they don't use the sanctioned
ones?
Man.
Who?
You're saying the Olympics?
No. In the boxing, in amateur boxing here.
Oh, right,
so that show I was at there recently, Paulie Kane show, it was Monkstown Boxing Club, but there were Russians fighting English and Irish. A lot of Irish were fighting on it, but they had these head guards on, and they didn't fucking budge. They were on the whole time. So I'm sure, like, if you have a head guard that fits perfect, then fine. And probably, like, I don't know if it's like, again, I don't think it's going to prevent you from concussion, but the reason they're wearing them, because they're fighting a few times that week, so they're trying to stop head clashes and that kind of stuff. I always
found when I wore the Oaks, all the side, I'd never see something coming from the side, you know.
I've worn them myself. I used to fight in the light contact kickboxing and stuff, where you wear them, you know, and then
the big fucking
and the shiny pants, and the shiny pants, So it's quite old school now.
Oh, sure.
But like that, I don't know. I just believe it's not. It's I don't know. I mean, I don't like seeing them on seniors, on adults, but like that, you take them off kids. The answer is I don't know, you know.
Even with that study done, like smaller kids aren't really going to be knocking themselves. Out.
Yeah, well,
get me?
Yeah, they're not. Well, I think that's
they're more resilient than we give them. They're a lot more bendier.
A lot bendier. Yeah. Well, look, I don't know. It's like they didn't take them off the females in the Olympics, and I think, I don't know the reason why they didn't study them, or they didn't put the 10,000 fights that they studied. It was all men. It was all the males. So they didn't do the females. So they're still on it. So now, but again, there's some people are saying they don't hit as hard. So maybe kids obviously don't hit as hard. But I mean, I don't know. Brains are smaller, heads are smaller.
But even with the gloves that are bigger, like the surface area is still
it should
just spread out.
Yeah, of course. But 16s, like obviously the kids are far better off in 16s. Look, most of the time there's no headshots on the kids at the events. And then, you know, when I'm doing the rules meeting and there's like, can we wear our own gloves? Yeah, if there's no headshots, fine. And then in the Thai boxing they're wearing the body protection, you know. Yeah. So in Thai boxing there's no headshots and they're wearing the body protection, you know. But when they get on like 16 or whatever, they're wearing the headgear. Now whether they should be or not, you know, I'm not a fucking doctor, I'm a referee. You know,
have your bleeding work out here, don't you, for the head guards?
I know, I knew you were going to throw that at me when I seen the head guard when I walked in, but
come here, listen.
It's just my opinion.
I know you're a promoter as well.
Yep.
So I imagine that's a really easy job getting people to do it. What's the hardest shit that you come up?
The hardest
trying to organise people.
The hardest part of promoting.
It's hard to keep people happy on both ends.
No, you know, I don't know. It's the hard.
What would you like people to kind of? What would they say? Yeah.
Didn't hear you.
Yeah. What make your life easier for promoting fights?
I don't know. Like the hardest thing about promoting is the card. I mean, it's kind of the only hard part. Like everything.
I mean, like, if you want to see fighters, like when you're promoting a fight, do you like to see them bitch
promote themselves?
Yeah,
I do, man.
Yeah.
I do.
I think it's good as well. Because it gets bums on seats.
Yeah, look, a lot of amateurs. Like my point is, if you've got two fighters fighting and they're on Facebook, you're putting out their posts, or whatever. If you go to an event and you see two, you were at an event the weekend there with a fighter that was, so you see two guys coming out and you don't know who either of them are. Yeah. You don't give a fuck who wins. Yeah. So you're looking at the fight and you're neutral and you don't care. If you've seen something, anything, like if you as a fighter, if you're trying to promote yourself, if you're extracting or creating emotion in someone, in the fans, then you're winning. Like once it doesn't matter if it's hate or if it's he's a dickhead or if it's whatever. But it just means like Tall Dave McCarthy there. Do you remember when Tall Dave McCarthy came over he was fighting on Cage Kings? I think we matched him with Justin Doyle. That's who it was. And at the weigh-ins, they fucking went for each other, and me and Martin had to separate them, whatever. Fine, it's not something, I suppose it's not, I'm not saying I like that. I'm saying, but right or wrong, like they were killing each other in the lead up to it and stuff. Yeah. But the fucking noise of it, like people wanted to see them fight. If you've got those two guys, they just don't do anything on Facebook. They don't. Whatever, you just, it's not just that you don't know, you don't care who wins. Yeah. And Dave was acting like a dickhead on Facebook, and when he comes out, everybody was like, there's that dickhead, I hope he gets his head smashed in, this kind of stuff, But I mean, you see a lot of these, a lot of people, especially the pros, giving out about the amateur, the fighter pages. What the fuck are they doing? I've no problem with it. If a fighter at amateur level, my point is,
you should have a caveat to all that.
But listen,
when the fight is over, shake fucking hands like.
Oh, they do. They always do.
I know.
They always do. Yeah.
But you know what it's like when they have their fucking mates with them. They're all bleeding drunk and fuck him and fuck.
Listen,
I know that's
it's
good.
part of the whole fucking thing, isn't it?
Instead, but when it turns into violence, though.
Oh no, it never turns to violence. It never turns to violence. It never. It does. There's more fucking violence at football matches. It never. As long as I've been. When have you ever seen a fight at a martial arts event? Never. It just doesn't happen. Thankfully.
Oh Jesus, this fella couldn't know some
touch
shit.
wood. Yeah, but I mean. I'm not saying every fighter has to be on and talking bollocks and whatever. I mean, there's fighters like fucking Keane, for example. Keane never comes on. Look at the following Keane has. Why do I constantly get asked?
That's like.
Why does he have the following he has?
Itself,
but I mean, Keane, he promotes himself very well, but he does it other ways. He does it with, I don't know, people are generally interested in him anyway, and people are always ask me, what is it like? Why are people so interested? I don't know, man. It's just he's just got that, it's
the aura about
it's just exactly, and he never talks shit on Facebook or anything, but he promotes himself in his camp or whatever, and people, I mean, he sold 300 or 400 tickets at BAM or something, I mean, and then when he was fighting Cage Kings against Darren, it was crazy, like even the noise of the crowd and stuff when that was, but Keane never talks shit on Facebook. There are fighters like Keith Levins who comes on and he does it his way, and right or wrong, man, like
everyone has their own style.
Exactly, but Keith Evans just come on. He came back from Australia. He was fighting in Australia for a few years. Nobody knew who he was, and he landed back here. And at the time, Carl McCallig was the champion, and he came back and just went on and started talking shit on the statuses and and then just saying, well, look, I'll fight you. Like, where? Just get it promoted, put it on. I'll fight you. You're a dickhead. I'd slap your head in, and everyone.
But isn't it better that
right or
that's
wrong,
more positive? It's
right
more of a
wrong,
positive way to deal with it. Probably make it something out of it.
No way is wrong. Like I say, if you're extracting emotion from the people that are paying in, buying the tickets or whatever, then you're winning, And like going back to the fighter page, a lot of amateurs have the fighter page, the Facebook pages, and people, cringe, whatever. I'm not saying it's not cringe. All I'm saying is they're having fucking no one.
It's good bloodletting for the community, because like if you don't have all that hormones and rage and anger and shit, and it's filtered into something good,
I suppose.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's good because people like want to see it, and it's controlled environment. You know what I mean? Where if they're out in the fucking street and they're, I'm gonna smash this guy, and then it goes tits.
But it is a sport at the end of the day. It's not just about two guys fighting and getting rid of their anger. But look,
any sport, there's more emotion involved in fighting.
100%. Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
There's a lot more things to deal with when you're fighting because there's a lot more consequences.
Some people are very passionate about football. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, look at fucking ask the Millwall fans where, you know, is there more passion in full contact competition? You know, but I mean, like that, I don't know. I just think like I say, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying everybody has to go on Facebook talking shit. I don't even, if the lads are fighting for me on an event, I'm not even saying I encourage it. Just when people are giving out about it, I'm just like, it is what it is. You know, I mean, if you're a promoter, you're not going to be going, oh, shut up creating drama on Facebook. Fucking let them. You know, it's creating interest. And like that, it's not for everyone. Keith Evans, man, look at Keith Evans. I mean, everybody still to this day wants to see Keith Evans fight. I mean, you know, I tried to match him with... Yeah, he does, because he came up with... Did you know who Keith Evans was before he came back and started talking shit on Facebook? I didn't know either, you know, and I was matching a lot of fights at the time, you know, and so like that, you know, people have their different ways of doing it.
You're a man of, you know, everybody in the fight game around here, because it's basically your job.
Pretty much.
Who would you like to see get down and dirty?
I don't know. I'd like to see Steph over here behind the camera fight. There's a couple there actually. Huh? Dawid Blaszke. Oh yeah, Dawid and Damian Darker. There's one, yeah. So I put that up on Facebook as well the other day, and Dawid was straight on. Why do we have to fight? You know, I wasn't, because I said on it like, this fight has to happen. I didn't mean as in this fucking has to happen. I mean, oh man, that's a juicy fight, you know, because they're both. But problem is they're mates. But I mean, you know, I don't know. They're in different gyms. They've got different coaches. They train together. They're mates. They're both. I mean, they're number 1 and number 2 in the country at that weight in K1. I mean, you know, I don't know. Look, you can't force anybody to fight, and if that's, you know, if they're mates, they're mates. But I mean, in my opinion, if you're a mate, if they're friends and they train together, it shouldn't. I mean, it happens all the time. I mean, you only have to look at Ryan Sheehan there, who fought a bit there last weekend or whatever it was, 2 weeks ago. Rashers was fighting James O'Connell, you know, Donkey.
Yeah,
they were matched on the Martin's Capital One show there in City West last summer. But they were the two at that weight, I think around 59, I think they were fighting at or something. But they were two, you know, number 1 and number 2, you know, one was the champion, one was the contender, whatever. And them two are best mates, man. I mean, I don't know how many shows I've been reffing, and, you know, one of them might be judging.
And like, the people want to see.
Man, they get on. They know each other since they know each other years. Like, you know, Donkey's from Limerick, Rashid, but they're both down that way. Muay Thai is very big down there, you know. And they were going to, you know, I mean, they're really good mates, and they were going to fucking... They were going to go in, they were going to do it. I think in small gloves as well.
When I was there.
Was he? Yeah. Donkey's a mad bastard, man. He's crazy. But again, another... Like, Donkey, he never went on. There's another example. Donkey never talked shit on Facebook. Never. And people always wanted to see him fight, because he has this... the Joker, you know, the Joker... Batman. You know, so his sister used to make him posters. You know, we'd make the poster, and then on that she'd be adding all the fucking makeup, and he'd be, you know, promoting himself different ways. And like that, then there's people that just stay quiet on Facebook, and there's no interest in them, and there's Donkey. Like, I mean, if you've got a fighter that's promoting himself and he wants to promote himself, like I'm not, like I said a few minutes ago, it's not about talking shit. It's just, anyway, you need to be promoting yourself. And there's 3 different examples. Like, Keith Evans done it by coming on and fucking telling everyone's going to burst him and lived up to it, in fairness to him. Keane does it. I don't know. Keane kind of has an edge on everyone else anyway, because people are just fucking... If Keane said nothing for a whole fight camp and went to fight, everyone would still turn to watch him fight. You know, but like that, he's very good at promoting himself. And then Donkey, he was fucking brilliant at promoting himself. So anyway, the point is, they were going to do it. And, you know, so it even happens in Ireland. So Dawid and you know what, Dawid and Damian Darker, Dawid Blaszke, but they're actually matched today in the Irish Open, the WACO. They're in the same weight category. I think it's 77 or 80 or something. So I think there's only 8 guys, so they could be fighting.
When is that?
That's today, Sunday. It started Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So it's nice. So I don't know. I don't think they'll do it for free. They're not, as far as I know, you have to pay. I fought in the Open before. You've got to pay to fight in it. So I mean, you know,
But then you get out if you win.
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's prize money. I think there's, but it's a very big competition. There's like 4,000 competitors. It's exactly, you know. And then, but I don't know if those two guys fight. I think it's done seeded, so it's not just
ranking.
So I don't know how it's going to fare out, but I don't know. I mean, if if they don't want to do it now, and I believe if a promoter comes up with the right amount of money, I do believe they'll do it. Money talks, but will they do it for free? I don't think so. I think if they were both, made the final or whatever, you can accept silver, or you can go on and fight each other and get gold. But I don't know. I can't see them doing it for free, but we'll see.
So
we'll see. But yeah, that's one fight I'd like to see. There's others, but I'm a promoter, so I'm not fucking telling you.
Do you want to plug Anton coming up though?
What's coming up? You know what? I usually have a show in around March. This year, I haven't done anything. It's flooded at the moment. There's shows like every weekend, so I'm keeping busy. Usually March, April, I have an event.
The old day job you're going for the hot
I held up. No, not at all. No. It's
no, I
know.
don't know where you get that energy from.
Yeah, I know. I have a lot of energy. I'm finding it hard to sit still here, man. I'm usually, I usually don't sit down this long. I'm already getting fucking agitated. I need a Rubik's cube or something. But no, so I've nothing at the moment. I'll be obviously helping Keane as usual with the takeover in June. We actually spoke yesterday about yeah, don't want to say too much. We spoke yesterday about something exciting for the event. So you've seen the last one.
Out there.
Yeah. No, it's well, it's a four-man. It's a four-man, but it's a really good format. So don't want to say too much now. We'll have to work on it and see if it comes true. But if it comes to it, but it's hard enough to get two fighters to fight. And the timing suits and the weight suits. But getting four, and then not getting a pull out and stuff. It's not easy. Like it's not easy to
need to get a substitute fight in case.
Yeah, exactly. But the takeover, man, it's fucking. Have you ever been to takeover? Oh, come
Probably
on, man. I've not been to takeover. It's ridiculous. Sorry. Oh yeah. Jay Kelly, Steph fought Jay Kelly on the takeover. Yeah. That was It's man. There was like 800 people at the last takeover in Dublin. It was jammed. It was packed. It really is a good event.
Seeing it, I think it was pulling the fucking seats. I'm like, yeah, get in there.
Pulling the what?
You were pulling seats from under the fucking ring.
For what?
What was the last one? I remember there was loads of people at that one. That was the one in
Good Counsel?
Yeah, Good Counsel.
I don't know.
I could see you pulling out seats.
No, we always have backup seats. We always have backup seats. You see, because if you have an event and you got to put the seats out. So say you get 500 chairs. If you put out 500 chairs, you only get 400 people in the door. You're going to look at 100 empty seats. Your event's going to look empty. So what you do is you put 400 seats out. Then they'll fill quicker, and then you bring out, and then everyone's standing around, and you're bringing out chairs, and everybody thinks you're the dog's bollocks because you're giving them a seat. But you got it. There's always spare chairs, so that's why. And then it just started filling up, and then filling up. But it's a good event, It's the Warriors Gym event. It's run twice a year, and it's one of the, I suppose, it's one of the biggest one in Dublin, if not the biggest one in Dublin.
Cool about it, man. Cool about it. Concussions. Just one more thing on concussions. Something that
I'll give you a fucking concussion if you keep asking me about concussions. I'm not a doctor, I'm a referee, go on.
Do you ever hear of people acquiring ASS?
Acquiring ASS?
Yeah, the acronym ASS.
No.
ASS. It's called Acquired Savant Syndrome.
You're blinding me with science here. Explain it to me.
It's not
Never
science.
heard of it.
It's basically people that have got concussions and they became fucking mathematicians and fucking... So 70, 80 cases.
I let him a right hook. You get a calculator, Steph. Yeah.
So the saying made some sense into you.
Yeah.
Might have some validity to it,
No, I didn't. I'm telling you though. I'm telling you, concussion. It's a fucking scary thing, man.
Yeah, no,
I've seen.
No joking, but I just thought I put that.
The event you last fought on. You fought in. I don't know if you last fought on. Remember you fought in the Regency.
Yeah.
You fought pro on that. Who were you fighting actually? Can't remember. A big black guy, was it?
No.
Did you know?
Can't remember his name actually.
Was someone on that? Well, anyway, that event that you fought on, a guy got concussed on that, and that's the first time. That was about 6 years ago, was it? It was fucking scary. It was I won't say who it was, but he fought anyway, and he was talking to. He fought and he was talking to Peter Cole at the bar actually, and he just start mumbling, start mumbling. Yeah, all right, like, and then they went and they got the medic and said, he's a bit whatever, and then he was like, this guy was in the army. That's what he done. And it was like, where do you work? What do you do for a living? Oh, I work in Tesco's. And they were like, he was never in Tesco's in his life. I work in Tesco's. Yeah. So their brain, that's not scary. So it's it's a scary thing. But I mean, that's why another reason you're stopping fights. When you're looking all these symptoms like that. Obviously, is why you need your your post-fight medicals. It's why they're important. But if you have a fighter and he gets concussed, there's lots of different symptoms, obviously, for concussion. Like, you as a coach, it's up to you to know what to look out for.
So,
you know.
I know one of them is when you put a light in one of the eyes. Should die.
Which is why you'll always see me at events. Like, the rule is,
well,
how many times have you seen me calling in the doctor in between, like after the round? The rule is,
to check.
You need to give your fighter the rest. So if it's 3-minute rounds, whatever. So it's gone 6 minutes. It's going into round number 3. The fighter's got 60 seconds break. The rule is, you can't get the doctor to check the fighter while they're taking a rest. They have to be permitted a rest. So then at 60 seconds, so this fighter, red corner might be pummeling blue corner and waiting, itching to get out. They're up off their seat, and then you're calling the doctor, and then they're getting upset, saying, let me at him, kind of thing. I don't want him to rest. It's the fucking rules. This is why I'm saying coaches need to familiarize. Now, most coaches do, like 99% of coaches do. There's 1 or 2 coaches I've noticed that don't, and this is why we actually have a course coming up soon, an ISKA course. It's a refereeing and judges seminar with a Glory referee, actually, and the president of the ISKA coming over. So, Paul Nichols.
Oh, what's that fella? What was it? Blackmore or something?
No, I don't know.
I don't know. A referee's course.
Oh, did you? Oh, no, John Blackledge. John Blackledge, fought Bruce Lee 3 times.
Nice
yeah, he is, yeah. So, that's he used to do it. So, it's a good opportunity for the fighters. It'll probably be happening around April 6th, I think, or maybe a week after, a week before. But in and around that date, it's going to happen on a Friday. But it's a good idea. If you're not coming with any intention of judging or reffing in the future, it's good to come as a coach, or even if you're an experienced fighter or intend to be, if you're an amateur fighter, look, experienced, come and, listen to the rules and they'll explain them all to you, because like that.
I got a lot of that course now, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
About,
I've done them all as well, I've done a few John Blackledge's one as well,
And I even think fighters, like, because when he broke it down, like, if a fighter can't hold his hands up, and he might be grand 2 or 3 seconds later, and say, what the fuck
this
did
is
you
the
do?
thing, this is what they say to you. Like,
he saved your life, man.
You're counting 1 and you're 2 and you get up to 8. It's you count to 8 and then they put your hands up, walk forward. That's the 10. That's up to 10. Now, if they don't get up at 8, you're allowed to count on to 10. So it's actually a 10 count. A lot of people call it an 8 count. But the point is, you get to like 10 and you're looking, and if they're not responding to you and you're saying, do you want to continue? Do you want to continue? They can't answer you. They can't fucking speak. You're not going to let a professional trained fighter to come in and take his fucking head off. So this is why you go and you'll wave it off, and they'll walk back in and they'll be like, what the fuck, ref, what the fuck, and they walk back in and they'll be saying, there's nothing wrong with me, like, and their head will be 100% clear. That's 14 seconds later, 15 seconds later. They don't get 14 seconds, they get 8, 10 seconds. This is the thing that they teach on the courses, like what you were saying. When they walk back, it's no good being alright 14 seconds later. 5 seconds before that, he didn't know where the fuck he was. You can come to that quick, and like that.
Plus if you're at acquired it and then you've recovered quick, it doesn't mean that it's gone. Do you get me? It doesn't mean that the injury you sustained 100%, is gone.
And look,
that's
concussions
what fighters need to know.
Concussion's a dangerous thing. I mean, when you get a concussion, like, essentially it's a bruise in the brain. It's the brain washes around, it's like jello and moves. It's not, like I say, it's not the initial impact. It's the like, this is why they say you've got to train your neck now. A lot of guys are training, fighters are training their neck. If you've got a really strong neck, it's your brain bouncing around. If you get an injury once, exactly. That's far. So if you
try and pummel it,
exactly, all the clinching, So you get a concussion, like, it's dangerous enough, and you're meant to, like, really rest. If you've got a fighter and they've sustained a concussion, in post-fight medical, they explain it to you, like, you really got to rest that. That's why there's so many. They actually recommend you're not supposed to even read. You're not supposed to look at your phone screen, scroll through stuff. You're meant to really let the brain rest for a few days, because if you just have a concussion, it's bad enough. But if you get a concussion on a concussion, it's actually very dangerous. That's why it's very important to rest. And like that
timeline of not to be spared.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think,
you can condition your shin, you can condition your body, but you can't condition your brain.
You can't train. You can't train the chin either. Yeah,
so you mad fucking fighters out there, just be careful.
Yeah. No, well, look, again, just going back to rugby. It's in my opinion, it's far dangerous. Far more dangerous than. Look, we spoke a lot about concussions. I don't know why we were meant to talk.
I was just giving a light-hearted thing about the ass.
About the ass. Yeah, well,
so the acquired Savant syndrome.
I never heard of it.
Actually, there was actually a case in America, I think it was, and some guy had got the shit kicked out of him. But then he locked himself away, I think, for a day, about 3 days it was. He couldn't, he was getting headaches all the time. And he come out of it then, and he started seeing geometrical shapes, and he started learning how to maths, and he never really was into it at the time, you know.
It's like those guys that go into the comas and shit. You know, when they come out of comas and they're fucking able to,
you
know, talk French and shit and all this weird shit. Yeah, so it's kind
the
of
shit kicked out. Is not a smart way of becoming a.
Not at all. No, but I mean,
a savant. So thanks for coming down.
No problem.
And
Thanks for
giving
having
your
me.
opinion, and we'll have you again, please God, sometime.
No problem.
All right, you're a gentleman.
Thanks very much.
And listen, he's looking out for all those fighters, so don't be giving them too much shit.
Okay. That's never not gonna happen.
All right,
All right, take it easy.
Thanks. All the best.